People who see me for the first time don't know what to expect from me. Some may think I'm not smart, but I'm practically like any other 14-year-old. Nobody is perfectly normal. Everyone's got these unique characteristics. What I'm trying to say is that none of you are just another brick in the wall.
The day that he was born, classical music was playing, and I remember seeing Joshua for the first time. He was not breathing, but nobody would look at me, and I kept saying, why can't I hear my baby cry? And within minutes, the room was filled with nurses and doctors, and he was swept away. I remember screaming at the top of my lungs, what did I do to bring this onto my child? Later in recovery, they came to me and said, your son has a severe disorder.
You just can't realize how special a child can be until you have your own child. He's just a wonderful kid. He's been through so much, and yet he's such a happy, well-dispositioned kid. He enjoys life.
My brother was such a prankster. When I was really young, I wanted to play video games with him, but he wouldn't let me, so my dad forced him to let me play. Little did I know that he gave me a remote with no batteries in it. I thought I was doing so good at the game. He was just playing a trick on me.
I awoke one Saturday morning to hear Joshua yelling at the top of his lungs, "Dad, Dad, get in here, help me." And as I ran into the room, I saw Isabella leaning over Josh, laughing hysterically and putting lipstick on him and eyeshadow, and his face was covered with makeup. Isabella was actually getting it back for something that Joshua had done to her a couple years prior.
Oh, Joshua, he's got a great sense of humor. He would always say to me, "Mom, don't sweat the small stuff." And I'd be like, what did he just say? He accepted his life for the way that it was, but I could see that it was eating away at him and really wearing him down the older he got. We knew that we needed to do something. I think the aha moment for me was viewing a video of a mouse that its legs were crippled and it couldn't crawl. And with one injection of gene replacement therapy, it was crawling up the side of the cage. And I remember watching that video thinking, could this be it? Could this be a treatment for my son? So we were over a decade into research, and we were pushing a guarded dream, truly. We had no idea where we were going. And when I saw the video of the mouse, there was a complete shift for me on what animal research was doing.
I definitely struggled at times with not being there for my son and for my wife. Those first 4 years of Joshua's life, I was gone most of the time, traveling and playing football in the NFL. And it was not easy on Allison. It wasn't easy on Joshua, and it wasn't easy on me. When I went to the Super Bowl with Green Bay that year, one of the reporters asked about my family and the fact that I hadn't been with them or seen them for most of the season. And it was it was tough. It was not easy. Things that are seemingly important can kind of fade away. When you have a child with a muscle disorder and you know that that child's life is being measured by days, months, maybe years, you will do anything to advance research.
Our conversations quickly turned with researchers, and I said, well, how do we get to clinical trials? And they were like, wait just a second, Allison. We will never get approval from the FDA going from a mouse model to a human. We need a large animal model. I said, well, how do we find a large animal model? And they quickly pulled me back in and said, that's nearly next to impossible. You know, it's finding a needle in a haystack.
It was difficult for me to understand what my mom was going through. But looking back at it now, I see how daunting that task was for her. I don't know how she was able to get up every day and remain hopeful that an answer would eventually come.
So much of that time of my life is cloudy. The stress, the weight of caring for a medically fragile child. My husband says that when he came home at times, he said I was not the woman he left, that there was a change in me, but I was woven with depression. Can I continue to do this day in and day out? Am I doing the right thing? Am I going to keep him alive? It was the first time in my life that I was out of control. There was just a complete shift in a focus for me. How do we find an animal model? The journey began with having a potential dog, to not having a dog, to combing through records and leaving random messages on people's phones of animals that were family members. It was a crazy journey. We were searching and searching, and I got a call from the veterinarian in Canada, and she said, somebody called us back. I arrived to meet Nibs with the owner, and she walked right up to me. I knew there was something special about this dog. This beautiful chocolate lab. And there was this bonding between us. The owner said to me, I believe that she knows that she's coming to do something for you and be part of a greater purpose. I couldn't believe this moment was truly happening. We had been pushing this guarded dream uphill for so long, and we now had a large animal model. Nibs was so special to us because she was the only carrier female dog that we knew of in the world with myotubular myopathy. She was the hope of our future. Grieving the loss of a child is truly the most devastating experience a parent could face. I honestly couldn't believe it. I struggled with, is this really truly happening? I could not accept that we had lost him. Not now. We were so close.
I think everybody grieves differently to the death of a child. For me, I latched onto the science and I ran with that. We realized that although Joshua was no longer with us, his story was far from over. There's no option just to ride off into the sunset, because right now there's no sunset. The sunset will be very poignant when the silhouette of a child that has MTM is walking away.
So the first thing that we had to do was begin a colony of dogs. And that requires mating nibs, the female, to a male. But that first affected male gave us the first opportunity to study the disease progression in these dogs. Both Allison and Nibs carry a copy of this MTM1 gene mutation. In myotubular myopathy, the defective gene causes a severe form of muscle weakness. Patients are so weak that they can't breathe on their own. What we can do with technology, with gene replacement therapy, is to replace that defective MTM1 gene with a healthy gene. It's sort of like building a house out of bricks, and you've got a missing brick somewhere. The gene replacement therapy is similar to replacing that missing brick with a healthy, strong brick. And that's exactly what's been done in these dogs and in mice, and what will be attempted in children very soon.
We knew we had to use my platform in the NFL to go out and raise a bunch of money. When we realized how well the dogs were reacting to the therapy, it was incredible. We had these beautiful dogs that wouldn't make it past 17 or 18 weeks, and all of a sudden we're giving them a shot of gene replacement therapy, and they're alive 4 or 5 years later. It was fantastic. Lab technicians that handle animals, they're chosen for those jobs. They're right where they're supposed to be.
Animals in our research facilities have to have human contact on a regular basis. And that is provided by our animal care technicians, by our veterinarians. These people are unbelievably dedicated, and they have a very difficult job to do. They not only have to take care of animals, they have to care for them with compassion. Without their care and support, we could not do the research. Over the years, we've had a number of animals that have been adopted by their caretakers. We've had a number of these in my own family that have come home with us. Many of the families of children affected with myotubular myopathy have retired breeders or other animals at home. It's just a neat thing to see that these people care that deeply for the animals that they'll take them home and care for them as their own pets.
All right, here we go.
Big fan. Say I'm a big fan of the fireworks.
What is your name and where are you from?
I'm Ken Lewis from Madison, Mississippi.
How do you see yourself?
I see myself as a son and a brother.
How do you think others see you?
I think other people see me as someone that's just a good person on the inside.
What is something that you want?
I want to be cured and have the cured and be like everybody else is. I could be on football team, baseball team, whatever, at school and just live a normal life.
Do you have any final thoughts?
My final thoughts are just to thank those people in the lab, just knowing that they work real hard and to get a cure in labs and eventually humans soon.
And aren't we glad that they took such good care of Orange for us?
Very glad.
We could write an endless story through the struggle.